Okay, so now that we've made a good little action shot, let's go ahead and talk about editing and how to cut up this shot into a sequence. For the most part in the SFM, you're going to want to go ahead and make a master shot that has all the pieces that you need in it before you start cutting it up. This is because it'll save you some time organization-wise to make sure that all the action is there every time you blade or copy the shot. So go ahead and hit the space bar. And somewhere around here where the rocket is passing us, let's go ahead and select the shot in the middle here and hit B for blade. And this is the most common way to create a new shot. You'll notice it took the entire shot that we had covering the whole sequence and cut it into two shots. So the first shot that we had from before is still here, but now it's half as long. And now we have a new shot that starts at that same location. Go ahead and select shot 2 and drag the playhead so it's inside the selected shot. Note that if you click and drag in the viewport right now, it won't do anything because the camera is being controlled by animation curves. We'll talk more about this later. For now, let's go ahead and create a new camera and place it somewhere else in the world. Each time you blade, you're making a copy of the shot. So the camera 1 that we made right before we recorded the scout running is still there. Let's go ahead and set that to be the active camera and move it somewhere else in the world. Click down on the camera button and choose camera 1. Now we can just click and drag in the viewport to move the camera again and maybe fly over here by this soldier so that we can do an over-the-shoulder shot. Maybe mouse wheel in and sort of watch the scouts come through here. So now if we sort of scrub back a little bit and play, you can see that we've got a nice little edit here. And so we can do the same thing again as the scouts leave the shots here. We can go ahead and hit blade again and go into this shot. Now since the active camera is camera 1, we can still move the camera around. Just remember it like this. When you're in the clip editor, you can only use the camera manipulator on static cameras. If you want to modify a moving camera, I'll show you how to do that later in the motion editing tutorial. So let's go ahead and maybe have this shot end when the scouts are coming up and running near us. Now you'll notice at the end of the shot here, the sequence runs out. This is because the blue film strip actually defines the active playback range. We cut it off earlier in the previous tutorial, so I'm going to go ahead and extend the sequence and extend the shot. As I move the mouse over the edit point, you'll note that the cursor changes. And you can click on the end of the shot and just drag it out to extend it. So let's go ahead and move the camera so that the scout kind of runs right over us or something. That'll look pretty good. Let's see what that looks like. So we don't really want all these black frames. So let's go ahead and move the sequence end to the end of the shot. You can either grab the end of it or hit Alt-O. Again, up and down arrows to move between the shots. And there's our little sequence. So let's talk a little bit about working with edits. If you notice as I move my mouse over the shot, you can see that the cursor changes from editing the end point of this shot to editing a rolling edit between the two shots to editing the end point of the following shot. And it's good to think about it in terms of each clip has its own sense of time. So if you make the shot longer, you can actually repeat the same moment over and over again. You can actually see this if you put the camera into the work camera and then play time. As you cross the edit points, time will actually skip. You can also adjust the time window that the shot is looking at by sliding the media under the shot. To do this, hold down Control and Shift, note that the cursor changes, and as I click and drag on the shot, you can see that there's this yellow and black ticker tape that shows up, and as I slide it, you can see that I'm adjusting when the actions happen. So if I were to go through and go to the beginning of the shot here, you can see that there's this rocket, and if I want this shot to start right when the rocket is first fired, I can drag to the right, and now when I hit play, you'll see if I go back, if we watch that edit, you'll see that a rocket gets fired right as we cut. If you just left drag on the shot, you can drag the shot to the beginning to reorder it or drag it to the end to reorder it. You can Control C and Control V to copy and paste a couple shots. You can select those new shots and delete them. If you'd like to move the shot earlier in time and have it maintain its duration, you can hold down Alt and Shift and slide it earlier, which will adjust the edit points on the preceding shot and the shot following. It's also useful when you're sketching in a sequence to expand or contract time, basically make slow motion or high speed shots. So let's go ahead and blade a new shot and do that. Let's move the camera in this shot so we can tell where it begins and ends. Just hold down Control, Alt, and Shift and drag on one of the edit points. Notice that the yellow and black media turns to green and black, and the text on the bottom of the shot actually changes to show you that this time scale is no longer 1.0. 1.0 is normal speed. If you need to reset a shot, you can right-click on it and get a context menu for that shot. Go up to Edit Clip and you can set the clip's name, the color, the overlay text, and one of the items is Set Time Scale. Just set it to 1.0 and tell it whether you'd like it to scale around the start, the middle, or the end of the shot because it needs to change the length of the shot, and hit OK. As soon as you do, you'll see that the time scale goes back to 1 and it's a normal speed shot. If I wanted to delete this shot right now, When I hit delete, notice that it automatically moves the shot afterwards towards the left. Basically, it stops me from being able to create a gap. And now all the gap frames are at the end of the sequence. That's because the SFM is automatically collapsing time towards the start of the sequence. We added this because we were constantly getting black frames between the shots, and we just decided that auto collapse was better. So at this point, I recommend going ahead and recutting your shot up into a couple different kinds of sequences so you can get used to working with the camera and the edits at the same time to really embellish the moment or sort of bring out what you like about your scene. And when you're ready to move on, we'll talk about working with sound and track groups. And don't forget, hit Control S to save your work.